What's the first part of every IFR departure, even when in visual conditions? This time in the ABS Hangar, IFR Departure, the first step. For U.S. Part 91 private operators, there are no required minimum weather conditions for taking off into IMC. It's entirely up to the pilot to choose what weather he or she is comfortable with, and that provides options in case of an emergency or any need to change plans and land the airplane instead of completing the flight as planned. Experienced IFR pilots usually demand at least good enough weather to fly and approach back into the departure airport if needed. More conservative pilots demand at least circling minimums for the approach in use at the departure airport to help in case one of the reasons for the return is an instrument or equipment failure. Sometimes it makes sense to choose a departure alternate airport other than the one you take off from, if it's nearby and better for getting back on the ground more quickly. In this case, you'd want at least approach or circling minimums there. All IFR departures assume the airplane will be at least 35 feet above ground level when it passes over the departure end of the runway, or DER. From that point, the airplane is expected to maintain runway heading at a climb rate of at least 200 feet per nautical mile until at least 400 feet above the runway elevation. This 200-foot per nautical mile slope is greater than the guaranteed obstacle identification surface slope of 152 feet per nautical mile. If the airplane continues to climb at 200 feet per nautical mile, it will be 1,000 feet above the obstacle identification surface at 25 miles from the departure airport. Maintaining at least 200 feet per nautical mile climb rate is easy under most conditions in beach airplanes, as long as you remain focused and fly the airplane. The most important point, however, is this. Unless you are given explicit instructions otherwise, even in visual conditions, all instrument departures start by climbing straight ahead on runway heading to 400 feet above the runway height, maintaining at least 200 feet per nautical mile climb. After reaching 400 AGL straight out from the runway, one of 6 departure procedures may apply: a diverse departure, a diverse vector area departure, or DVA, an obstacle departure procedure, or ODP, the familiar standard instrument departure, or SID, a visual climb over the airport, or VCOA departure, or, under Part 91, some other departure procedure you make up on your own, a do-it-yourself, or unofficially DIY departure. It all begins by climbing out straight ahead to at least 400 feet above ground level. This video is part of the American Bonanza Society's Beechcraft Essential Systems and Techniques course, free to members in the ABS Online Learning Center. Log in or become a member at bonanza.org. Don't miss another edition of the ABS Hangar. Subscribe to the American Bonanza Society YouTube channel. We'll see you next time in the ABS Hangar.